Hello, everyone. Welcome to our session today on winning on LinkedIn, where we're going to break down the latest algorithm changes and how you can adapt and keep your firm visible and top of mind. Um, so, as people are starting to come in now, we'll just kind of brush through a couple of things. So, quickly about me, a lot of you already know me, but my name's Tyson Cobb. So, I've been marketing since about 2006. Went into advertising pretty quickly, probably a few years into my career, and working on big digital and big campaigns for the likes of BOQ, Suncorp, Tats Lotteries, Microsoft. But then, funnily enough, found myself as a marketing director of an accounting firm back here in Brisbane, in my hometown of Brisbane. So everything else leading up to where we are today, talking to you, professional service firm decision makers and experts in your field. So as for Practice and Pixels, so we are the digital agency partner for professional service firms across Australia. We do have clients in the US and some clients in we work with some clients in New Zealand as well. So we're all about making digital different for professional service firms. And when it comes to digital and social media, LinkedIn plays a huge role in the growth of professional brands online. Yes, your clients are on LinkedIn. Whether every single one of them on the platform is actively engaging is a different story, but they soon will be. They soon will be engaging. Australia is one of the most highly penetrated, engaged markets globally. And this is a quote directly from a Forbes article, just came out late last year. Australia is one of the most highly penetrated and engaged markets in the world. The community we want to grow is professionals, and we have around 90% in Australia. So it's a very highly penetrated, very highly engaged market. To further validate my point, this is the man who said it. If you don't know who he is the country manager for Australia and New Zealand for LinkedIn. There's little Matty there. So if they're saying it, the data is there, as you can see here. So it's pretty validated that people are engaging on LinkedIn more so than ever before. So whenever an accountant or an advisor or lawyer or professional says that they don't think that their clients are on LinkedIn, and I hear it all the time, I have those conversations all the time. I'm just going to show them this image. So this is data it's from 2023 and 2024, but it's from CPA Australia, The Australian, Forbes, other various sources. So I'm sure you're all on LinkedIn. All right, maybe you're engaging consistently or you're yet to. But either way, let's talk about the algorithm. Let's talk about the changes that we're seeing rolled out for LinkedIn now. Now, before we get stuck into the different areas of the algorithm, I just want to say that this is a how session. This is not a what session. Okay, I'm not going to tell you what to post. I'm going to take you through some practical tips on how to post. So what the algorithm looks for in posts for engagement and how you can actually stay on its good side. So what we talk about today can be adapted for both company pages and posts, and also personal LinkedIn profiles and posts as well. And if for our clients on this call as well, we will be starting to roll this out through all of your LinkedIn content too. So you'll start to see some changes, but we'll communicate that to you in the coming weeks. So we're going to get very practical. So strap in, get out your trusty notepads or your AI note taker or anything like that. And jot some of these down because you'll start to see improvements with your LinkedIn posts over the next couple of weeks if you start to utilize some of these tactics. Yeah, that is an AI generated image of me. I don't usually like putting together presentations. I hate it, but I actually had a lot of fun doing this one because we got to play with some AI images just to be distinctive, just to be different, guys, because we're all about making digital different. AI isn't refined just yet. As you can see, the logo is just totally off, and the little doggy there on top of the dinosaur nose. I don't know what's going on, but it's a bit of fun. Bit of fun for your entertainment and poking fun at me as well. So LinkedIn's algorithm has evolved. This is what it used to focus on. There's a lot there, okay? Lots of posts, post daily, as some so-called experts would tell you. Get people to share, get people to like and react. Lots of clickbait tactics were happening, like comment yes or DM me for this link if you want it, kinds of things. Now, LinkedIn saw beyond that, knew that it was just, sales tactics, or just became way too saturated. So they had to make a change. So hence the new focus, which is on content that is relevant, engaging, and keeps us on their platform for longer. So there's lots that they're focusing on now, but I've pulled it out. Just a few key points that I think are super relevant. The first one is that top point on the new LinkedIn focus column, value-driven posts. So fewer posts, but higher quality value-driven posts are prioritized. Comments and conversations are a top factor in successful LinkedIn posts as well. Authentic conversations, they matter more than likes. An increase in the time that's spent on a published post, so how long people are spending on it, and then expertise and relevance. Relevance to your audience and the expertise that you're showcasing as well is another critical factor. So I've done it down into three categories. Relevance over engagement, focus on passive dwell time, and expertise-driven content. So first one, relevance over engagement. What does that mean? Let's break it down a little bit further. So basically, the LinkedIn feed is getting smarter at showing users the content that is actually relevant to them. So if you're seeing different types of posts in your LinkedIn feed, that's the algorithm telling you that it thinks that you would like that piece of content. Okay, I've certainly seen changes over the last probably month on the types of content that I see on my LinkedIn feed, and I'm sure you have as well. So it used to be that like a like or a reaction meant that relevance of that post has been validated. People find that relevant, as in, yay, that person really likes my content. They gave it a love reaction or a love emoji. Okay, so it's a small reward. It's a small reward hit. Think of it like a tiny dopamine boost. But likes and reactions aren't everything anymore. Okay, we can't rely on those. So LinkedIn is now looking at a member's profile so looking at the industry, the roles, skills, past activity to figure out what content that they would most likely care about or that they would probably care about. So if you're consistently posting on a specific niche or focusing on a specific niche in your content consistently, like commercial law, wills and estates, retirement planning, HR, whatever it is, the algorithm learns that learns to show your posts to more people who are interested in those topics. So it's a little bit smarter in how it delivers content to an audience. So professional service firms, this means that your content has a better chance of being seen by the right audience if you stay consistent in your niche. Okay. And also a fun and personal post here and there is cool, but just keep the content on your niche, on point, stay in your lane. You see people posting about when they go to conferences and they attend events and they have takeaways and that sort of stuff. That's great. Post that, pictures of yourself, of the team. Awesome. Don't just focus on that. You need to provide some level of expertise and content that somebody can learn something. You can impart some wisdom on somebody else rather than just kind of tooting your own horn. Okay. Obviously, that is an AI image of me too. I don't know about the teeth there. The hair's on point. I don't know about the teeth. It's a bit weird. LinkedIn's got a way to go. That one was pretty funny. So the measure of relevance, it used to be about reactions and shares. Okay, that's how they used to measure if a post was relevant. Now they're focusing on conversational type comments and messages. So comments and conversations, meaningful comments and conversations, not just people who comment and go, thanks for posting. It's people who have an opinion about it. So the way you structure your posts needs to deliver more comments and conversations for it to be effective. So how do you win here? How do you win? Firstly, stick to your niche, as I said. Focus on one or two things, and then LinkedIn starts to position you as that expert in that niche. Avoid switching between too many unrelated topics because you will confuse the LinkedIn algorithm. Right? Stay in your lane and tell LinkedIn, over time, this is what I'm focusing on. So serve it up to people who want to know about it. The they ask you answer methodology is huge with, now posting on LinkedIn. So your clients have questions daily. I'm sure an accounting firm gets questions all the time around, tax, BAS, bookkeeping, structuring, all this kind of stuff. Financial planners could have questions around the transition to retirement or, just general retirement planning or estate planning, something like that, right? With these common questions that they're asking, answer those questions and actually answer them. in your content. Don't vaguely answer it, just answer it to the volumes, right? And people have got these questions, they want answers. So that's how your content should be structured. Using industry-specific keywords in your profile in posts, just like SEO on your website. Use industry-specific words, messages, phrases in your LinkedIn bio, in the line that's underneath your name in your LinkedIn profile, in your company bio on your company page, making sure that these keywords are things that you're also using in your posts. Again, LinkedIn looks at all these things and starts to identify you as the relevant expert in that niche. And create a regular content format or a series. I'll show you an example of this shortly, but if you consistently share content in a format like video, short videos, or even like newsletters on the actual LinkedIn platform itself, then this is that kind of regular content format that LinkedIn will start to see and start to show it to people who are more likely to engage with that piece of content. And engage with niche relevant content as well. So don't just post yourself, be active on LinkedIn with relevant content to your niche, to your area of expertise, to your clients, your market, your industry, all that stuff. You've got to be commenting with meaningful conversations to expand your reach, to get people directed back to your content. So make sure that you're engaging with other content as well, not just yours. Share real-world applications and case studies. Nowhere near enough people share case studies. People share testimonials, just a short quote or testimonial, but sharing case studies or a story in your post is highly, and a lot of people will be able to relate to that case study, right? But if you share case studies from an ideal client, sure, there'll be some times where you have to use the confidentiality. You can change their names and business and a few of the details. But if you can create a case study to, demonstrate that on a post, then people will be able to relate to that who are more suited to your ideal client type. Now, this is a regular content series, regular post format that Business Depot out of Brisbane here does. It's called In the Loop. It's a regular monthly newsletter on LinkedIn. Their theme newsletters every month, consistent use of their brand codes as well. So it's very distinctive. I know Business Depot very well. Those of you who know me know that I've worked at Business Depot before. But the yellow, the images, it's very distinctive and people know who that is. In the Loop, so they're talking to small business owners, just keeping in the loop about all things about tax, legislation, government grants available and all this sort of stuff. Just what's going on in the landscape, commentating around the election and all this stuff. Just keeping business owners in the loop, making the content as simple as possible. Then there's this guy, Davey from Box Advisory Services. If you're not following his videos or following him, I think you should. Some good inspiration in there. Nearly all of his videos stick to that they ask you answer methodology. So he's simply answering some of the most common tax, business, and bookkeeping questions from clients. The clients ask him in the firm. Okay, so check him out on LinkedIn. Very effective videos and very consistent. So what you want to do is position yourself in a niche. So LinkedIn views your content as relevant to a specific audience. So a lawyer specializing in commercial law, you could position yourself, the content as potentially like franchising as the primary focus, with other stuff or more human stuff peppered in, of course, like, at events and conferences and all this sort of stuff. But the more they talk about franchising, agreements, legal considerations, trust structures, all this kind of stuff, right? They start to position themselves in the eyes of LinkedIn and the algorithm as the go-to source for that specific topic. This is how you remain relevant with your topic, with your content. And yes, you can do more than one niche, as I said, just don't do too many because you will confuse the algorithm. Now, this is my favorite one, focusing on passive dwell time, because this is where the creativity needs to come out. This is why I love it so much. Everyone has a level of creativity in them. Obviously some are more creative than other, but creativity, I think, needs to come out a lot more in LinkedIn posts. Let me demonstrate. So this is the true measure of engagement. I truly believe passive dwell time. It focuses on how long people linger on your content. So even if they don't click like or comment, it's how long they spend consuming your content. So if readers slow their scroll to actually read your post or view a document, LinkedIn takes that as a sign of quality. So how do they measure it? Well, previously they did not prioritize how long users spent on a post. Now they are. It's as simple as that. They've identified that if people are spending longer on a post, it's more relevant and engaging. So how do you win? This one is a little bit chunky than the first one, but let's go through it. Use eye-catching visuals. This is the first one, all right? I know it's hard sometimes, but you really got to use eye-catching visuals to stop that scroll. This doesn't cut it anymore. Yes, you can use these images sometimes, but stock images, I think, are done and dusted. You can use them in a creative way, but I don't think just smash an AI generated post and then have a stock image on your post is enough. That is not going to be enough to get that passive dwell time. It's not going to really stop the scroll. This one, Monday motivation quotes. They've been around for a while. I wouldn't necessarily say they're effective anymore. This post in particular with the red on the black, distinctive, like in terms of a distinctive visual, I don't think that works. You can't really read that. It won't stop the scroll. If you're going to do like motivational quotes, do it quarterly. I wouldn't do it very regularly. The person who posted this, that is not him. That is a stock image. People can see right through that. This one, it's very obviously it's AI generated. And the reason I say that is because it doesn't really understand humans that much in its post, because it says it's not just about hustle, it's about strategy. The post should be a little bit more, not scare tactic, because to me that's, I've got to do a lot of work, hustle and strategy, boost your business. Well, I know that needs to be done. There's not enough value in that post, and the visual is not enough to stop the scroll. This one, I don't even need to comment on. It's just wrong in so many ways. First of all, it's got a link. There's no hook. There's way too many hashtags, and the visual is awful. Don't post this, guys. LinkedIn hates it. Don't post it anymore. Okay. The reason why I put this as an option, as an example, I get it. Not everyone's creative. Not everyone wants to put photos of themselves up there and put little, cartoons on themselves. But this is me. This is my personality. That's who I am. I'm a bit strange like that. But use images of yourself, but do it in a little bit more of a creative way if you can. Add quotes to it if you want. Even slap a logo on there too. Don't overdo it. Don't use too many images of yourself. But this one actually got some good engagement. Use memes. It's social media after all. You can use them in a professional way, as we've got here. Infographics work really well, right, when they're talking about a specific point. And PDF carousel posts. LinkedIn eats those up. They love them, especially when, it's talking about a really niche topic like AI in the future of financial planning. I'd want to know about that, even though it's not my field. I still want to know about it. My wife's a financial planner. She read that and sent it to me. This is the PDF carousel post that you have to actually click through to read the content. So it's a little bit of carousel scroll. That drastically increases your passive dwell time and the engagement of that post. LinkedIn loves all of these kinds of things, guys. So we need to think differently about that engaging visual. So the next thing is to use strong hooks and content that unfolds to get clicks. Let's find out what that means. This is Michael from Trimline. He's a fractional CFO in New South Wales. Hi, Michael, if you're on. So he specializes in working with agencies, but he talks about revenue, profitability, team structure and all this kind of stuff. Very, very, very knowledgeable. And LinkedIn considers his content, the go-to source of information. So he's got that. Lots of businesses have gone bust with impressive revenue numbers, and you have to click to read more. That post is relevant to me because he works with agency. I want to know a little bit more about it. So I'd click that, increases my passive dwell time. That's also a video. So the passive dwell time is a lot longer, of course. This one is awesome. I love this one. It's a great example of a great hook and passive dwell time and just overall relevance, I think. Most businesses, so we're all most businesses, they're talking to a lot of people, are failing at branding. So that challenge, that kind of scare tactic, and they don't even know it. Okay, well, maybe we do need to know. I don't like to think we're failing at branding, but they think branding is click. Everything about this post wants me to click on it. You know, the PDF itself, this is what branding looks like, and I have to scroll through to find out what it is. Passive dwell time on this is fantastic. I engaged with this for a while. And of course, I have to put one of us just because we've been testing out the new algorithm over the past month. Most professional services firms approach marketing like this: launch a few paid ads online, and they need to click to find out more. Okay. Passive dwell times increase, engagement of the post goes up. It's also a video that goes for about a minute. So the engagement was quite good on that one as well. Also, post native videos, but don't just focus on videos, post native everything. All right. No more links in posts. Link in the comments, linked page from your website. LinkedIn wants to keep users on their platform. The algorithm heavily favors native content. So text, images, videos, polls, documents posted on LinkedIn over posts that actually send people off LinkedIn. All right. So upload everything natively into LinkedIn. Don't keep adding link, because they don't like that. They want to keep you on there. Engage in the comments early. So the first hour, this is actually a pretty good tip. The first hour that you post on LinkedIn is actually super important. So they call it the golden hour because that's when LinkedIn tests how your post is performing. Right? It's learning your post. It shows it to a small amount of people in your network, people you're connected with, and it watches how they react to it, how they engage with it. And then if people start commenting and engaging straight away, especially if they're relevant connections of yours, first connections as well, LinkedIn will push that out to a wider audience, including people who are connected to your connections, right? So first and third connections, right? So time your posts. Think about when you want to time your posts where your audience is more active. So for example, if your clients are business owners, small business owners, maybe the mid-morning coffee break works best when they're on that, scroll while they're having a coffee or waiting in line for a coffee. For lawyers, maybe, you could try lunchtime would be probably a good bet, safe bet there. Some studies from my research have actually suggested that Tuesday mornings between 8 and 10 and Thursday evenings get the highest engagement, but that's general. So it really depends on your audience. So you need to, experiment to see what works. Experiment over the next month and see when, at what time of the day, the best engagement happens. And finally, use documents in your carousel posts. So document posts, they are the carousel posts that you see that you click. You have to click through to read the rest of the content. This massively increases your passive dwell time if the content is relevant to your audience. So explore the PDF carousel post. Some examples could be if you're a commercial lawyer, it could be like steps to protect your intellectual property. You could talk about, registering trademarks, monitoring infringement, all this kind of thing. You could have a call to action at the end of it for a consultation or something. If you're, in bookkeeping, if you're an accountant or something like that, it could be common bookkeeping mistakes, and how to fix them. Okay. So they're, these PDF carousel posts work really, really well, and LinkedIn loves them. So you want to create posts that increase that passive dwell time, the time spent on your content, to signal LinkedIn's algorithm that your posts are valuable and should be shown to more people. It won't happen immediately. It'll happen over time. So you need to kind of just consistently post this valuable content that increases that passive dwell time. So the best formats, as I said, video, anything native actually, PDF carousels, posts that unfold with that whole, read, you have to click to read more, eye-catching images with posts that unfold, and LinkedIn articles and newsletters like we saw with the Business Depot example earlier. By the way, that image is insulting AI. I am not that large, but I do have more hair in that, so thank you. I appreciate it. And the logo was way off. I don't know what that is. So the third one, expertise-driven content. So this is a great one. This, to me, is all about getting back to what the platform used to be all about in the first place. So the professional social media network. It shifted away from it too much, right? A lot of it was like a hustler bootstrap platform kind of thing, where a lot of kind of influencers were posting about events and international flights, drinks, lunches, kids, babies, their office, Here's what I got on my desk today. Like, cool, that's great. But if it's focusing on expertise, there's nothing valuable in that for your audience. Okay, so I think this is their way of resetting the algorithm, and people have a particular view on how to approach their content. It's just become way too social. So they're putting a large amount of emphasis on expertise driven content. So what does that mean? So they used to focus on posting mixed or varied content from the same profile because that will still perform. So, there's no real niche or there's no real expertise there. It's just posting about what's happening in their business life, which is cool. I like seeing that, but not all the time. I want to learn something as well. I want something to answer my question or to solve my problem. So this is what they're focusing on now. Boosting profiles that consistently focus on niche topics with a touch of the personal side, just a touch. So let's break it down. How do you win? You want to share actionable insights. So tell stories to demonstrate your expertise and have actionable tips and insights in those stories that people can take away and they can apply the next day, or it answers their question, or it helps them understand their question a little bit better. Don't just say things like, we provide great client service. Maybe share like a sanitized anecdote or something like that around, a client came to us 2 days before tax deadline. Here's how we helped them, or here's how we solved a 50K problem in 48 hours. It's a case study, shows your expertise, relatable storytelling. I think that works really, really well, something like that. Or if you're a lawyer, you might post something about, when I argued my first case, I made a mistake that taught me a very valuable lesson about preparation. And click to read more. You have a really strong visual for that. But these stories are what draw people in, right? Boosts that dwell time and often invites others to share their stories as well in the comments, right? Builds that engagement. Even as a professional, showing a bit of that vulnerability or learning journey in a story can really humanize you, your brand, your business, and your content on both the company pages and the personal LinkedIn profiles as well. Use research and data in your posts and text. LinkedIn loves it when you can back up things with research and data, especially when you got stats and everything in your images and your PDF carousels. Leverage the LinkedIn's article platform to share your expertise and your tips and everything as well. So it's like a blog on LinkedIn. And engage beyond posting. So comment on other people's posts as well. And just show up consistently, guys. Keep doing it over and over and over again and stay in your lane. Remain topical. Don't steer away from it too much. So you want to consistently share valuable and educational content to position yourself as the go-to source of info, attracting more followers, engagement, and opportunities. I don't know about that AI image, but the dog's back. So this is what LinkedIn is focusing on, guys. Big changes. And if you start adapting now, you'll be ahead of the game. Your posts will start to build some strength in the algorithm. Relevance over engagement. So sticking to your niche, create a regular content format, stay consistent, answer the questions, share case studies, focus on the dwell time. So eye-catching visuals, strong hooks, upload everything native, engage early, use carousel posts, share actionable insights for expertise-driven content as well, tell stories. Guys, it's pretty simple. You just need to do it time and time again over a longer period of time, and then you'll start to see your engagement increase more as you go, as LinkedIn starts to learn more about you and your posts. Now, if you're looking for a bit of a formula, I'll send this to you after. This is a bit of a proven post formula for maximum reach on LinkedIn. So you need a hook, you need an insight or a story, strong visual, a call to action in your post, use some hashtags, mention people as well. That works really, really well. Make sure you're tagging people in your posts if you can, if it's relevant to them. And brevity and clarity. So keep paragraphs short, use simple language, avoid fluff, don't make it too complicated, make it really easy for people to understand. This is a post that, just breaking down this post that I did about a week and a half ago. So as you can see, it's got a clear photo of me. It's got my ranks, my credibility and tagline. It's got a thought-provoking first line, a story that unfolds, an engaging visual, putting our expertise on display, and also it's branded. Okay, so we're trying to codify our brand assets as much as possible so people know it's us. But remember, focus on the long term. This is not short-term wins, guys. Digital marketing is not a short-term win. You need to, if you're wanting to build, sustainable growth through digital marketing efforts, you need that long-term view. So take off the short-term blinkers and focus on the long-term effects. That's where the real return will be. That's where your best engagement will be as well. Mr. Beast, for example, one of the biggest YouTubers, it took him hundreds of videos before he actually went viral and made it. So if that's not an example of having focus on the long-term effects, I don't know what is. So this is an example, actually focusing on long-term. I'll leave you with this. So this is Ben from Inspire Accountants here in Brisbane. Sorry about the screenshot there, Ben. I should change that. That's a bit rude, isn't it? But he posts videos consistently on LinkedIn, sharing some expertise and tips for businesses and other accountants as well. And usually, so he told me a while ago that I think it was like 15 years ago, he started doing content. 6 months into it, he wasn't getting much engagement. He was about to stop. And then he pushed through, he kept going with it. He started to get people coming through the door going, look, I read your piece of content, or I watched your video on this, or I went to your webinar on this. Can we talk about this? Where do I sign? These conversations that he started to have with clients was less about how much do you cost, more about the value that that firm can bring to the client because he's already shared the expertise. They already know, like, and trust him. But he focused on the long term. Now, 10, 15 years later, they got like thousands and thousands of people in the database, big following on social media, does public speaking, webinars, workshops, all sorts of things. And, they're working extremely well for the growth of the firm. Now, we did have a question. One quick question came in, how frequently to post, and from company or an individual? Company or individual? Both. But I wouldn't post exactly the same content to both because the brand voice is different to the personal. So you need to have a clearly defined brand tone and voice and message that you can use for your company page, right? And that's usually comes down to brand strategy. For your personal one, you just be you. Like, there's no point in sugarcoating it or to try and be someone else. That's why AI hasn't really caught up with that yet with LinkedIn posts. I can always tell when someone's done a LinkedIn post because I know, like, if it's a person I know that doesn't sound like you. So I would try and, if you're sharing something from your company page and you want to reshare it on your personal profile, add your own commentary to it. Don't just copy and paste. All right. Tag people in it as well from your personal one. All right. Now, in terms of how frequently you should post, quality over quantity. I would aim for once a week to start with, but if you're really wanting to get LinkedIn knowing what your content is about and start to rank it favorably, I would say maybe twice a week. But you don't really need to plan it out too much. Sometimes that spontaneity works really, really well when you have those really good ideas. In the morning, if you have a great idea, sit down on your computer, write it, see if you can get an engaging visual as well, or do a PDF post, post it and just see how people react to it. Sometimes people can be a bit scared about hitting publish, but you need to kind of put yourself out there and get out of your comfort zone. So 1 to twice a week to start with, and then to see how your engagement's going after a month, and then you can make a shift, whether it's like 3 times a week or once every 2 weeks. You just kind of need to make that call. I can't tell you exactly how often you should specifically post. You need to sort of figure that out for yourself. And that's based on your objectives and strategy and that sort of stuff as well. That is correct. Somebody asked, newsletter subscribers are in personal page, not in the company page. That's correct. They aren't in the personal page, but the personal page does have the blogging capability. So you can do that. You just can't do the newsletter. The newsletters, that's why I use the Business Depot example. That is in the professional brand page, the newsletters on LinkedIn. You can do the blogging from your personal one and from your company one as well. Okay, so if you're going to do newsletters on LinkedIn, I suggest you do that. Well, you can only do that on your brand page. Okay, so we do have something else coming up in July, and it's essentially your brand and marketing questions answered. I get asked hundreds and hundreds of questions every single month around brand and marketing, and usually they're really basic ones. So I want to be able to answer those for you guys. So it's all things around SEO, social media, email marketing, even things like webinars and that sort of stuff as well. We can talk about what works in professional services. Are there any specific ones for law, financial planning, accounting, consulting? Like these are all the questions that we're going to be answering on this webinar. There isn't a registration link just yet. You'll get that in an email, but I'd love to see you on that one. It's going to be very practical. We can have some live Q&As as well, but that one's going to be very valuable and going to try and answer as many questions as I can. And thank you for attending, guys. I know that's a very jam-packed kind of session, 40 minutes. But if you want to kind of chat about any of these as well, any of these things with LinkedIn, you can connect with me on LinkedIn, scan that QR code, and we can link up. Or you can give me a call. I'm happy to chat. But either way, I hope this has been valuable for you, and I hope that I'm looking forward to seeing some of these posts come out, some of this LinkedIn engagement sort of amplify for all of you. And if you want any kind of, if you want me to review anything or have a look, send me some stuff. I can give you my thoughts on it. Yeah, we can test some engagement and see how we go. Have yourself a fantastic day, guys. Thanks for joining, and I'll speak to you all soon.